evening, everybody. I hope everybody's enjoying themselves. Welcome to Enliven Radio, part of LegacyInternetRadio.com. Forgive me, brain freeze already. How's everybody doing themselves today? Today is, dang, I'm about to say March. April 22nd.
Get it together.
April 22nd, 2014. I got the year right. I'm your host, the one and only Mr. LP Stephen Sykes, and thank everybody that's listening to us on Legacy Internet Radio and also MixLR and also our TuneIn application. We're here each and every Tuesday from 7 to 9. We have a wonderful, great show for you, but of course, as always, we're going to start the show off with a lovely prayer, and we have the lovely Miss Blessed that assist us with this.
All right, and we pray, dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for bringing us together again to fellowship and talk to one another. Thank you for all the blessings you bestowed upon us. Thank you for your Son who died for our sins. And above all, thank you for you. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen. How's everybody doing today?
We're doing great.
Okay. Well, we had an interesting few days and stuff like that. The sun is starting to get better. It was a little cold out there. Everybody had to turn back on their heat.
It's about to rain here.
Oh, it's about to rain. Okay, we're going to have to work on that. Well, today's show, we have a couple of things going on. First off, shout out to Mr. Sincere, who was not able to join us. I know I promised the full crew, but things happened then. But we do have the lovely return of Miss Brandy. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
Cool. We missed you.
I missed you guys.
We've had several emails by the pound. I got letters of protest. I was afraid I was going to be fired if I don't have you back soon.
Oh my gosh, I'm glad I came today then.
You know,
it was close.
My dad didn't listen last week because I told him he was going to be here.
Aww.
And everything. And then, you know.
Wait a minute. Because you've been sucking up and saying that your father liked me on here. So why didn't he listen again?
No, he didn't.
Typical man.
No. Okay, no, hold on. Okay, no. My dad is really into this young lady here, okay? But then he said, he went back and listened to the old shows and said, he ain't going to tell me when he's listening. But he asked me if you were back on. He said, yeah, what happened to the other young cute lady? I said, ooh. And I said, I have plenty of them on my show, Dad. Hey. And he said, you know, well, where's the other one? I said, well, she had to take care of some things, but she'll be back. And so we're glad to have you back.
I'm glad to be back.
Okay. And Miss Bless, how are you?
I'm stirring up trouble as usual.
But you know, I can take it and everything. So don't think you can roll over me because it's 3 against 1. I'm all right.
I'm doing well. I'm glad to be back again this week.
I thank you very kindly. I appreciate you. Today's show, we have a couple of things. The next subject we're going to get over on the next hour. I'm not going to spoil the fun. But today we have the lovely, the most talented, you know, world famous author who's come to bring us her introductory book into the world. This book is going to be awesome. This book is going to be magnanimous. This book is going to change your life forever.
That was a big word. Can you give us the definition of that?
Gigantic, big, exciting, beyond scope.
That could have been one of the words of the day.
Yes, but that was too easy of a word.
Okay.
You missed it the previous week. Our previous guest nailed every single one.
Wow.
And then the definition, I couldn't say the word.
That's a first.
And we did a little bit more Native American history. She knocked it out the park.
Wow.
You got to catch up on that one.
Yeah.
But today's guest is not only a business professional, a multi-million-dollar compadre, and now I'm looking to be able to call her a friend. The lovely, and I'll let her say her name.
My name is Candace Werts.
How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so very much. And thanks. It's a joy to have you here. With you 3 ladies here, it's just like me out the room. I can turn off the lights.
Oh God, my eyes are crossing.
But you have a lovely book, and could you tell us the name and the title about this book?
The name of my book is called Made to Love. It's Carmen and Cooper's story. It's book 1 of the Made series.
Okay. Now, where are you from, Miss Werts?
I was born in New Jersey, but I've lived most of my life in Richmond, Virginia.
Now, what part of Jersey were you born?
North New Jersey.
Yeah, girl, Brick City girl in the house. Beth Israel?
Yes.
Oh, see, I know where you at. I live there. So you're here in Jersey, from Jersey, came to Virginia and decided to school us on a book. And what made you decide to write about this book?
Well, my book is an erotica romance, and those are the type of books that I enjoy reading. And what I've noticed that there is a lack of multicultural characters, interracial dating, and interracial couples. So I want to change the norm, and so I decided to come up with the MADE series. And each book features multicultural characters and interracial dating.
Awesome, awesome. Lady?
I like that idea actually a lot, because she's right. I mean, you don't hear either it's all one race or, you know, it's never just interracial. So I really like that. That's the first time I've heard of something like that. So it's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I read one Zane book, and that was about it out of all of the books. But yeah, that's a great idea. I like that. I'm gonna have to get it.
And how much is it?
It's $15.
Oh,
And you can come out this Saturday to Mona Lounge. That's in the Short Pump area from 5 to 9. I will be there with my books. We're having a signing. You can come and have some tasty treats, go to the cash bar, get your book signed, and take a picture with me.
The other thing I was, that's the cigar lounge out
Yes.
there, right? Okay, see, that's a nice place. I like that place a lot. Good place for
you
books.
smoke?
I don't smoke cigars,
Okay,
no.
okay, I was gonna say the cigar.
My dad smokes cigars. I did an event there though, and it's pretty expensive, but
Yeah,
yeah.
those cigars ain't no joke over there. It'd be wine gallery. Would it be wine there?
Yes, there's a cash bar. They have everything.
Oh, they have everything. Okay, no problem. We're gonna take the meeting on wine. Let's see what's up.
You come out and get you a drink, get you a book, get it signed, and listen to some snippets. I
Yeah.
have a very special friend coming in from out of town, and she's going to read a few snippets for me.
Oh, cool.
So tell us a little bit about this book. It says Made to Love. What Made to Love? You mentioned that, you know, it's interracial and things like that, but what made you came up with the title?
Because when you see the title Made to Love, you can think a couple of things. First, you can be like, well, what does she mean, made to love? But when you look at the book cover, you can see it's romance. So you know it's not anything like forceful. But made to love to me is such a powerful statement because everybody is looking for love. And so when you see the title, like I said, it makes you think, what does made to love mean? It's going to make you open the book and read it.
Yeah.
Very intriguing.
Now, it says the story of Carmen and Cooper. Who's Carmen?
Carmen Williams, she's 25, she's a business owner. The story is based in Arlington, Virginia. She owns a daycare center. She's a real sweet girl, but things have happened in her life where she basically stays to herself. She doesn't like to party, she doesn't like to hang out, she just stays with her close friends. She stays with her close friends, and she needs to come out of her shell. But because the tragedy that took place has blocked her off from wanting to love anybody and wanting to put herself out there to risk meeting someone. So she's been putting herself in a shell. But in my book, she comes out her shell, and she comes at it very well.
I wish I had Cash for me tonight, because that sounds like a typical what I would love to read. I mean, I think Omar Tyree was one of my favorite authors, but you know, a lot of his stuff is kind of like that you pick it up and it's just so good, you have to go to the next page, you can't put it down. And it sounds like kind of the similar love story where it's like a girl and she's kind of like closed off from the world, and then she just breaks loose one day. So
Right.
I would love to read that. I'm excited already.
Thank you.
Do you have it set up so that you could, credit card, you know, the new technology, you have your iPhone or your cell phone and you can...
Yes, I do have, I got the little square box gadget.
Oh.
So I'll have all of that on Saturday.
Okay.
So there's no more the paper slide with the whole perforated copy to go to, you know.
No, you just slide your card through the little square white box.
Now, was this anything based off of your own life experiences?
Well, I think it has a little bit to do with everything that has happened in life. Like, even not just my life, maybe I got little ideas from people who I know. But like, for instance, Carmen's parents, they're based off of my mom and dad. Not the things that they say, because my mom and dad don't speak that way. But my parents have been married, which feels like forever. And when you see them together, it's just like they just got married, and it's like they can't keep their hands off each other. It's like, I love you. And like everybody's like, oh, but I'm like, that is gross. Like, but so her parents are based off of my parents.
So now that's Carmen. So she got some interesting background we need to delve into more. But now what about locally, Mr. Cooper?
Well, Cooper Jackson, he's Carmen's senior. Like he's in Arlington, Virginia, and he's in the financial world.
How much of a senior?
10 years.
Okay.
You
Yes.
don't want to give away the whole book.
I know.
I'm sorry. I just said I found out later. I'm sorry.
And like when you think of Cooper and when you see Cooper, he's like everything any woman would want. He is just tall, he's fine, he's educated, he's successful, and when he sees Carmen, he's like, oh yeah, I like her. But when the way they meet, when you read the book, it's like at first you're kind of confused, like, do they like each other? Do they not like each other? But there's also something that has happened in Cooper's past that even though he was, liking Carmen and thinks she's attractive and wants to get to know her, there's something that's stopping him and preventing him from being open to love. So they both have these obstacles that they have to overcome, and we'll find out if love conquers all.
So it's very true to life, because a lot of people have those type of situations happen in their life where they have blocks up or walls up to stop them from doing what they want to do. They know they want to do it, but something's holding them back.
Right, they're scared. And then things in the past can hold you back. And my moral of the story is, whatever has happened in your past, don't let it block you from your blessings that can happen in the future. You can't be closed off to loving someone because of something that happened to you or someone that you know in the past. But at the same time, even though I have that message, it's still an erotica romance.
And that's really excitement. That's that part that'll keep you turning the page all night, sitting up with a flashlight in your bed. I love stuff like that. I love it.
Now, why erotica versus a regular romance? Just like, oh, they go out and things, they have an argument. Cousin got in my way, ex-boyfriend stirring up trouble, and just talk about story drama like you see stories. But this was the erotica. What made it?
Because I enjoy reading erotica romances.
Yeah, they are good.
They are. It's like, what? And so this book is filled with, there is drama. Because I feel what's important when you're reading a story, that you're supposed to experience every emotion. You're supposed to be happy, you're supposed to be sad, you're supposed to be angry, you're supposed to have moments like, what? No, that did not just happen. Like sometimes when you just want to throw the book across the room. And so you'll experience all of that. You'll have Carmen's feelings, you'll have Cooper's feelings, you'll have like the surrounding characters' feelings. So you experience it all. But there, like I said, there's drama, there's love, there's happiness, and lots of adult things that happen in the book.
Oh yeah, the adult things. We're gonna leave that part of it alone. We are a family show. We try to stay above board as much as we can. We surf it, but we try to stay above board. So, how long have you been writing?
Well, I remember when I was in school, I did like to write poems and things of that nature. But in November of 2013, that's when I came up with the idea. So ever since November 2013.
Okay. So November 2013, is this something you're going to continue? Or is this you just waiting to see how this first book comes out and things?
Now this is something I'm going to continue. Like I said, it's book 1 of the Maid series. And this one, the first book features Carmen and Cooper. Book 2 features Marcia and David, and then book 3 will feature Giselle and Liam.
Are they all in this first book?
Yes.
Okay.
And because it's basically the girls all of them are 3 best friends. And so even though, the stories come, you have Marcia has a story and then Giselle has a story, you'll still see the difference in the characters. So you won't feel like, well, I just read Carmen's story, I'm going to read the same thing with Marcia. No.
Okay.
I have a quick question. Do any of these girls steal or cheat on the other guy?
You have to read the books, Steve.
Okay, I just had to.
You have to read.
So what made you get started? I mean, there's so many people who have that dream to maybe write a book, but it's like, how did you know you would make it interesting? And what gave you the just knowledge to do that. I mean, how did you get the idea of it?
Well, what would happen is I have very vivid dreams, and like the characters, they talk to me in my dreams.
What do you eat before you go to bed?
That
does contribute to a lot of dreams. What do you eat before you go to bed?
I try not to eat too much before I go to bed, but I do like drink hot water before I go to
water.
sleep.
You know, I read somewhere that's good for you because it helps make your food. Yeah, so. Okay.
Yeah, I drink that before I go to bed. But my dreams are very vivid, and with this book, it started at a party. And I didn't know who these people were, but I just kept seeing the same scene over and over and over and over. And I'm just like, okay, I know I didn't watch this in the movie. Like, what is going on? And then maybe after the 5th time I dreamt the same scene, the 6th time, Cooper talked to me. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is a book for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, the next morning I got up and I typed, that scene that I saw, and just went from there.
So have you continued to read the erotica books? Because I know I like to read Walter Mosley, and he said he doesn't like to read books because then he might take scenes from those books and put them in his. So do you still read those books, or do you just create your own scenes without reading because you don't want to like take parts of those other books?
Yeah, I stopped reading, which was very hard because, like all my friends know, I can go through a book in a week. And sometimes it can be 3 days. And so like my friends on Facebook were like, well, can you recommend us a book? And I'm like, oh, I just read this and this, this, and this. So I stopped because I didn't want to get any ideas from anybody else. And I just focused on this one. And now, the second book is in the process. The second book is complete, and I'm working on the 3rd book now.
How long did it take you? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, typically, I mean, how long do you think it takes you to get the idea, to put it down on a paper, and then come out with this beautiful copy all glossy and designed and everything? I mean, it's amazing that you actually did that. So how long did it take altogether?
To write the book, it was a month and 5 days.
Okay,
Now,
so
writing is
wow.
the fastest part.
Yeah.
My graphic designer, she's local. Her name is Annalie Kirby. She did the cover for me, and she was quick. Like, I just told her what I wanted. I said, I know I want it to be red, made to love, and that's all I really know. And she came up with this, and she had it back to me in like a day and a half. The process that takes so long is the editing, and so like waiting for that was driving me crazy. And then once you're putting the book together, like when you upload it and you're trying to make sure everything is correct, that was a little challenging. So that takes the longest part.
So speaking of that process of actually trying to get the book out there, as far as editing is concerned, did you ever have an issue where someone kind of like tried to change your voice of what you're putting out, where you feel like they're not correctly getting across what you wanted to say?
No, the editor, she was really good. Sometimes she said that, I described things too much, but and sometimes I agree with her, but for the most part, I'm like, no, I'm not going to change it. So, but she didn't try to change anything drastic. It was just like, some things she said was described too much. But my thing is, I'm a descriptive writer, and so I want you to see it. I want you, yes, to see it, to feel it, to smell it. Like, I can smell these trees, I can smell these flowers. So,
I'm sorry, my mind is in another place.
Your mind from just off of what the author says. That's what I love about reading. So you can watch a TV show and everybody sees the same brick wall and the same white wall, but if you're describing it, it can be, anything. So depending on, we could all read it and imagine something different. Right. So that's what I love about just reading in general.
What would you say, who are some of your favorite writers, by the way?
There's so many. I don't just want to say, throw anybody's name out there, but there's so many. And I just have respect for anybody who takes the time to sit down and write a book, and especially a book that takes you into another world, and you become part of those characters, and you become, a part of that book.
So what made you pick the setting of Arlington?
Well, I picked Arlington, Virginia.
She was ashamed of Richmond.
I picked Arlington, Virginia because of Cooper's job in the financial world. It's close to D.C. It's faster paced life up there. When I think of when I think of down here, I think of more of like family atmosphere. In Arlington, Virginia, like it says close to DC, I think it's more fast-paced.
It's interesting because Arlington is not that big. Overall, it's a lot there, but the size of Arlington is really, size of West End, and pretty much that's it. It's smaller than that. So I found it an interesting location. Where the location, assumed to say it's the location for the other two books in the same area or just similar to that?
Yes. But we do visit Chesterfield because Carmen's parents live in Chesterfield. We do visit parts of Richmond, so we're a little bit everywhere.
Do I get a role in this book eventually, maybe seriously? Do I be the IT professional or the media professional? Or
the characters are already written, Steve. I apologize.
You
Maybe
try
she
to get
could
cut
put you
out
like on a cover or something. It's like the
like what's the guy that used to model with the long hair? And
I know Fabio. Yeah.
Okay, he's in like 200 books. Let me just be in the cover.
Yeah.
And then I leave you two ladies just sit there in the chair. You sitting on my lap and you holding my head behind.
Yeah, where
I was just a dog. I can be professional in the group, or and let the next person she didn't get with me, but I'm the guy lurking in the wind.
behind the windows.
Have a fan, get some wind in your hair.
Yeah, something like that. Yes, I'm the guy that she wants, but she knows she can't have. Something like that. It's just a thought.
It is a thought.
So let me ask you this: what are some other fun things you like to do besides writing?
Well, of course, I like spending time with my family and my friends. But I have to say, like, my favorite pastime is going to the MAC counter. I love playing in makeup. I have a problem.
And they have this thing where you take back your empty bottles. And
Yes, I know.
I got so not a girly girl.
You know what?
Whatever.
You know what y'all need to go understand? Like MAC is because they're one of the more better known brands that's come down to the everyday level for everybody. But there are a lot of other makeups out there besides MAC that's really of a higher quality and things. I just hear MAC all the time. Don't get me wrong, they're good stuff.
No, I don't discriminate on makeup products. I'm that person that every time I go, I don't care if it's Rite Aid, I'm gonna get something. Like it could be a lip gloss. It doesn't have to be MAC.
$3. Some of the $3 pencils that you edge up with is just as good as the $25.
But I did notice when my sister took me there how well the people, they try to actually get you the correct thing for it. Where if you go to the Walgreens,
You can't do that.
No.
Exactly.
All I know
Foundation
is-
is good for MAC. Okay, so if you get, well, never mind.
We can get up in there. I got that.
When I walk into Nordstrom's and I walk to the MAC counter, all I know is the makeup gods sing and they walk in. So I'm like, I want this, I want this, I want this, I need that. Just give it to me.
That is me. That is me. I'm like, I don't care what it costs. I don't care.
I need to take out New York to
$30
some of the original Macy's stores. I think it's the 10th floor or 12th floor. I need it on the east, the other side of the building. I need to take out some other places with me. Or better yet, Boston Commons Mall and some of the other ones, but Tony Yards. We're going to take you some places. I need to get y'all some good makeup too.
Yeah, I just like MAC for like stuff that goes on my face because you have to be careful because a lot of stuff will break you out. It's not non-comedogenic. I think I said
Non-comedogenic.
That's the word. And so I always feel like if because I have really sensitive skin, so stuff like that. But stuff like you said, the eye pencils, I'll get those from the dollar store sometimes.
And people won't know as long as you do.
Yeah, it's like
all
whatever
nice.
stuff.
Because all y'all have shapely, nice eyebrows and things like that. I work very hard at that.
You're so full of compliments.
I was
tonight.
thinking that. I was like,
Oh, wait, so you don't have?
No,
I know, but I'm just saying. I mean, see, those who are listening in Radio Land don't know how y'all look. And
when you're taping it. So
well, yeah, I'm taping it and it's going to be up. But, but for those who may not get to see whatever, they just hear, we are three very attractive women and attract, educated. That's the more important part. So I can just say, hey, I'm butt ugly. And I
not
really
with these
feel-
cute voices.
No, obviously not. Thanks. So you do like going shopping, you like spending your money. What's the most you spent on makeup?
No, I like going shopping for makeup.
Well, yeah, let's say, sorry, okay.
Makeup.
Makeup, not just makeup. Makeup, period, okay. What's the most you spent on makeup?
asking some
I cannot tell a lie, so I will not answer.
That's not a problem. No, I've had people, I know people who spend $4,000 to $5,000 in a shopping spot.
What? Makeup in one trip?
Yeah, in like literally 25 minutes.
Are they artists?
No, so no, they're not. These are not artists. Like I know what you're thinking. No, these are not people who like buying it for their supplies.
What kind of makeup is that? Is that airbrush makeup or something?
No. I've seen the body spray paint and makeup and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've seen people spend like good anywhere between $300 to like $1,700. And sometimes higher.
If you need that much, you just need to, I don't even know.
I don't understand.
Yeah, like I would never.
But those spray tans you see people get all the time as well.
Yeah, spray. I mean, I think stuff like that is better because it's better than sitting out in the sun. So a spray tan I can understand, but makeup is makeup when it comes to stuff like that. MAC foundation compared to the airbrush makeup, a lot of it has the same matte finish, or I think that's the word matte or matte, whatever. But it has the same finish, so I don't understand that.
Now let me ask you this, Ms. Werts. What are some of the things out there in writing that you see now that you're a professional at this? What are some of the things that you see now that you didn't see before? You mentioned the editing, some of the editing issues, but what are some of the things now that you see different than what you saw before in other writings after you have written your book?
The only thing I can really say is it just makes me appreciate the people who do this for a living, who have done it before me, because now I know how long and hard the process can be.
And because a lot of people are not understanding the efforts and the process and all of this and things. Not to disclose too much, but what are some of the steps that you did not understand, that you have a better understanding after that? Now you're here at the end. Well, let me not say the end, but you're at the next step of, we're releasing, we're going on. What are some of the steps or things that you had trouble pushing yourself through, and also just part of it that you did not understand until after you got in it?
Well, like I didn't understand what was taking so long with the editing. That was frustrating. And then, just trying to upload the book, having to go back and fix any corrections. Like I didn't understand like certain margins. And, of course the publisher, she was helping me with it, but you still, as the author, you still have to go through it and make sure everything is correct. So that was, sometimes it was a little frustrating and challenging. And then, time would start to escape me, and then I'm getting tired and I'm just like, oh my goodness.
So did you find yourself having to be a little bit more patient than what you normally have to be?
Well, yes, especially with the editor. I mean, you can't call them and say, look, I want my book. And then I just had to, sometimes I had to take breathers when I was, going through the uploading of the book and making sure everything was correct. And sometimes you just have to step away and take that little break. Now
that you have this book out and you got the 3 series out, what's the next series or goals that you're looking to go? Like, what's the next direction you're looking to go? Are you looking to stick, is erotica romance the main theme of all from here on out for the rest of your writing career, or do you see yourself going into a different direction?
Well, for the Maid series, it's erotica romance. But I do have another guilty pleasure.
Okay.
I love vampires. I love witches. I love the darkness.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that I would probably want to do something along
Like
those lines.
sci-fi kind of.
Something, yeah.
That would be cool.
I have a question since you're into that field. It seems like it's starting to die down a little bit, I think. But for a good while, maybe 7 to 8 years, it just seemed an over-influx. Like every other show was vampire witches, like on CW, half the shows for like 4 while was all vampire witches. Like after the success of Charmed, I was thinking of it. It was not a bad series. I liked it. But after that, and there was another, it just seemed like every other vampire movies, there's always something. It just seemed like it was over-attenuated, and just didn't understand why so many people. Did you ever felt that way with that?
I can never get enough of vampires. I can never get enough of witches. I will never feel that way. Anytime there's something new, I'm like, yes, I've got to see it. But I really think with, like, I guess what you want to call like dark creatures, I think I know why I am drawn to vampires is because most evil characters or creatures, they're hideous. And these vampires, they're always just like
Yeah.
gorgeous and like, oh, you're so hot.
You know?
Yes, and so
Perfect.
you know, it's just like you can glamour me.
It's like that's bite me. And I'm like, you know, you got an eternal soul for the rest of your life, and you want to be bitten. And it's like, here's the thing I tell women all the time, not to bust it, but vampires have no blood in them. And so, you know, how is things going to work? I mean, like, really. So,
You mean their equipment? Is that what you're talking about?
okay, yes. It's not going to work. So, like, they have no blood in them. You know, they suck in blood because they constantly dream. They're most anemic people in the world.
So that's what makes them so great. And that's the mystery.
But it doesn't work.
It does work.
They're having babies and whatnot.
Yeah.
At least in, what series was that?
That was in Twilight.
See, Twilight just seemed over and done. It just seemed like it was a young teen. The script in it seemed so weak. It just like put one, and Kristen Dunst just had one of those stone face. She had the same face and everything. Not Kristen Dunst, I'm sorry. What's that, the lady in Twilight?
I know who you're talking about. I can't
But like, she just had the same stone face. I'm so dead, I'm so down, my life is over. The same mopey teen that you see some people in.
Steve, you just don't appreciate vampires. Twilight was an excellent.
The only movie
Yes,
I like is Vampire. I can tell you. No.
I love Blade, Interview with the Vampire.
Okay, Blade I liked.
Like Blade.
Blade I liked. The third one was horrible.
Yeah.
I like how Blade of all people, you know, the FBI, whoever come beat him down, but this man in just the previous movie took out like 300 people on his own with no sweat. And then, like, you know, they messed up the makeup. He got a bald spot in the middle of the movie. I'm like, really? So that didn't work. Now, the one series that does not get enough credit, Underworld.
Yes, I like
That Underworld was better,
yes.
far better than Underworld. It was actual writing. You just script everything else. That was just, the other one was just a team.
But you can't say that because Underworld, their writers were, what their message is completely different than Twilight's.
But I'm saying the quality of it.
Okay. Well, we're just gonna have to disagree because with Twilight, it was a love story. It was a beautiful love story about two souls who just couldn't be together.
It wasn't Underworld the same thing? Like, man,
But Underworld was more violent. I mean,
okay, they both vampires and werewolves killing and just slaughtered each other.
I enjoy both. But
I've never seen any of these movies, but I do like True Blood. I'm not good at watching like whole movies because I don't know, I can't sit that long. Like I can pick up a book and just be like, oh my gosh, I gotta walk everywhere with this, like walk around. But movies just, they don't keep me, so.
Okay, so before Twilight, you know, you may not know because you're kind of young. What was your favorite vampire movie or horror movie, I should say?
Now, horror and vampire are two different things.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. What was your favorite vampire movie?
probably was Interview with the Vampire.
With Kristen Dunst when she was a little girl?
Yes,
Is that the
that-
one? Yeah, I remember that one. I liked Fright Night.
It was Brad
That was
Pitt.
back in the day. Yes, I used to love that when I was
Fright Night.
little.
Didn't they remake that a few years
They
ago?
did, and it was horrible. I watched some.
They made a no.
Yeah, it was not good.
Okay, I remember there was one, Blood of the Last Vampire. And I like some of the Japanese animation vampire movies. And I like Underworld. And
Yeah.
the one that Eddie Murphy was funny.
Really?
Yeah, that was
Vampire in Brooklyn. I've
Yeah,
never seen that one.
Did you never see it? It's totally hilarious. The only thing is I got tired of Angela Bassett running in every movie crying and sniffling. I'm like, really? Stop it. She does the same thing in every movie. But other than that, that was a very good movie. So now the next series we have, we looking to do vampires. Or just a possible.
Possible, because I'm not going to say it will be the next one because after book 3, I already have another idea. I have 2 other characters that have been invading my dreams. And so it will be another erotica romance.
Can I get in that one?
Steven, I'm sorry, I just don't see you.
My 2 characters are already in my dreams.
How come I can't get in a role somewhere? I can be a erotic romance man. I can do it.
There's so much that I want to say, but I'm trying to.
I'm just not bringing it out. Okay. But if I was 6'4", muscular.
Stop it.
So, where else are you going to have do people can see these books? How can people get it? Are you going to book signings at other locations?
Yeah, I do have a few book signings, and you can get all that information on my Facebook page, which is, of course, www.facebook.com/CNBOOKSERIES. You can also find me on Pinterest at CNBOOKSERIES, Twitter at CNBOOKSERIES.
The website?
And yes, and on my website, which is www.cnbookseries.com.
Awesome. Now, where are some of the locations you said you're going? We can find out all the locations going there and things like that. What is one thing that you would tell yourself? Like, you just got into this now, you said it came to your dreams. Do you wish you could have started it before, or are you happy you feel that you're in a better place in life right now to write the book?
No, I think it came at the right time. It came in my dreams at the right time. I wouldn't have made it come before or any later. It came at the right time.
I appreciate you so very kindly for coming, because it's very powerful and a lot of different things that people have, and you have some lovely flyers for us and things. But how many pages is this book?
186 pages.
We're gonna have to sit back and set some time. I'm gonna have to spend the whole day and read this. I mean, I'll make it the next week.
Get your wine and some grapes and
Mm-hmm.
some chocolate.
I can do the chocolate, I can't do the grapes, I can't do the fruit too well, but I can do the wine and things like that. So I'm gonna have to read this a little bit and things. Ladies, any questions? I'm sorry.
How did you establish a strong beginning, middle, and end? I mean, I'm one of those people where when I start writing, I kind of go on and on and on, and I don't know when to just be like, the end. And you can't just end it with the end, because that's like children's stories. So how did you know when you were done?
Like I said, it's all with my dreams too.
Okay.
Because it's all with the dreams. And even though I have the dreams, and then of course, I type in or write whatever else comes to mind, but my dreams do it. It gives me, this one, my dreams started in the middle of the book. And then it will take me to the end of the book. And then the beginning, and then, I go based off of that. But the way I knew it was going to end, because of course with erotica romances, people like to have a happily ever after. Mm-hmm. So we have a happily ever after, maybe. But then I introduced Marsha's book in this book, so there's a second book coming.
Okay.
Now, did you find yourself practicing any of the stunts that are in this novel? I mean, not to get all up in your business, but I mean...
No curtain ride, right?
No, there's no curtain ride.
I just had a thought that just randomly came to my head.
Well, we can just say that, my husband's a very happy man. I'll just say that.
I'm not saying that. I'll say that. Quick question. Do you feel, someone had sent me this a couple of days ago, and I meant to ask this of you. You see a lot of young girls reading these books as well, young women and things like that, and things like that. What is your thought of young preteens and teens reading these books? Because we see in Twilight, I understand, to me it's grown. But like when I think of Twilight or romance, erotica, Zane, you've seen a lot of 13, 14, 15-year-olds and further reading these things. Do you feel that's okay, or how? Granted, it's all how you raise a child's raised, but what are your thoughts to that?
In every site that I have, it says it's erotica romance for the adult community. This book is for adults. That means 18 and older. Children have no business reading this book or any other type of book that's erotica romance. It's inappropriate.
A couple of questions, things on here. Thank everybody for listening on LegacyInternetRadio.com and also MixLR.com and the TuneIn application. We have Mr. Cutting Edge and also Michelle K. Robertson saying hello and things. Mr. Cutting Edge said, he just called her Stoneface, the previous lady we was mentioning. He's also saying that Twilight was kind of sappy. Michelle K.
You all are men who are watching a movie that was designed for women, so that's probably why you didn't like it.
Okay. And he also, they said, it is interesting. He's a animator and he developed GG series and Little O and Capitol Hill things, and he's mentioned that he dreams of GG, so he understands a whole lot of what you have to do and make it animation. Would you like to see this book, you know, the popular thing now, taking these books to the movies? You feel that your book can go to a movie one day?
Of course.
Or better yet, let's make it a TV series as well. Let's make it long running.
Yeah. I am open for all ideas.
Would you mind traveling in different sets and you know, editing it? Because to take a book to a movie or even to a TV series, there's a lot going on.
Right.
I could see it being like a stage play too. That'd be pretty interesting, something like that. So.
That'd be a hot stage.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying. I've seen maybe like. Well, I forgot about the erotic part.
Yeah. She's like, I forgot. Never mind. A movie. Yeah.
A movie probably be better. Yeah.
Okay. Now, somehow we lost connection to everybody on the MixLR. I apologize. I don't know what happened here. What book out there that you would like to see made into a movie?
I would like to see, there is this book called Made to Love by Candace. I would love to see that as a movie. Just saying.
Just saying.
Okay. Well, thank you so very kindly for coming and being here. Brought us a lot of joy and understanding, and I appreciate you very much. Today is a busy day for your schedule. I know you're heading out to Vegas or London. What's for tomorrow?
No, today is my husband's birthday.
Happy birthday! Yeah, so you know we let you go for dinner and things like that. So we appreciate your time very much.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. And again, we can all find out more about you from which the webpage?
My webpage is www.CNBOOKSERIES.com.
All right, awesome. Well, we're going to take a small break, everybody. And when we come back, we're going to have more from you from Enliven Radio, part of Legacy Internet Radio.